But it's kind of amazing about something that happened close to 50 years ago. If your dad, hypothetically, if your dad had not gone to Woodstock, you would not have grown up in Alaska.
No, that's very true.
That's very true. Yeah.
You know, and if this guy hadn't, you know, decided to put on a show, you know, all of our lives may have been different.
Oh, I probably wouldn't play music if it wasn't for
yeah,
the
so
festival.
thanks.
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah, great
idea.
Well, you know, I mean, I heard the single, which I love a lot, and you know, the sentiment there seems to be something that's taken from what's happening in the world today, and it's certainly something that was happening at that time. I mean, the similarities are a little scary, actually, in terms of what's going on. So, so it's definitely a timely piece for you guys, and we really appreciate it. So.
For this album, did the title come first or did the title come last?
It was kind of, I mean, the title is what inspired us to make the record and finish the album. I mean, honestly, we were kind of given this open-ended session that just was never ending. I mean, we were recording in Malibu. We're at Rick Rubin's spot. We were at Shangri-La, like the band's studio. Yeah. And we were out there working with Mike D, working with Danger Mouse, and we're working with some really great people, but we didn't really have the idea, you know. We recorded a lot of like really great music, but it wasn't until we went back and Zach and I were hanging with my dad.
Yeah. He just kind of threw us he was giving us a dad talk, so we were just taking forever. And
is your dad still in Alaska?
Yeah, totally. He builds houses for a living. This guy's just one of my favorite people on the planet. Awesome. Obviously, he's one of John's, but like, I don't, you know, I choose to love this guy. And he was giving us a talk. He was asking us what was taking so long with the recording, and he put it so simply. He just thought of it like building a house. Like, it's like, come on, guys, don't you just go into a studio, bring your instruments, and write a song and record it? Isn't that what you do?
Like the way he'd bring a toolbox into a spot and build a house.
Right.
Yeah.
What, you need more supplies?
Yeah. And it kind of and we were very cloudy. We had not a lot of focus right then. We're trying to figure out what the album was and what it meant, where we were going with it, and that just. And then at the same time, he kind of threw us an envelope and he's like, "Oh, you guys are gonna get a kick out of this," and we opened it up and it's his original ticket to Woodstock on Friday for $8, and I was like, $8. And I don't know why, but it just it hit us super hard. And obviously, like you were talking about, seeing all the similarities and everything going on today is in there. You know, people in the streets, you know, singing songs and carrying signs and all that stuff. It's we were really feeling that stuff, and it was something about how much that kind of that movement and that thing meant to us. Even it wasn't our generation; we were a generation past. What it meant to our parents, what they did, and how that shaped our lives. How the musicians that we found would see that, you know, how Kurt Cobain looked at that movement, that festival, and then wrote the songs that made me first pick up a guitar. And it's just it's kind of crazy. And that's what inspired us. So it's like, you know, where it came from. So that's where we kind of decided all in one weekend. And John was just like, let's call the album Woodstock.
Just throw it all out.
Throw it all away. Let's write an album called Woodstock.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, man. Like, we all grew up on rock and roll that meant something, and I feel like, I mean, this is just what happens. Like, over time, you get this formula. Like, everybody knows what a rock song sounds like, and it becomes about a heartache or whatever. The heartache sells right now, so let's sell heartache. Right. And it's it was always so much more to me. Like, listening to the Beatles, all the music that we had growing up, you have to imagine, like, my dad moved up in '70, like, right after he went to Woodstock. Yeah. All of the music I grew up on was pre-1970.
There's no
and it all
record
had
store. There's no record store on that mountain.
Yeah.
You got what you got.
Yeah, Tuckey does not have a record store.
Downloads.
Yeah, I grew up on all that music, and it all meant so much. Yeah. And I think looking at everything that we had started working on, it was like, these are like cool lyrics. There's like great wordplay, and it's like everything that you want to be in a song, but it's not meaning the same thing that growing up and hearing about Woodstock and hearing about those bands and hearing those songs. Like, it just didn't have that same weight, and I felt like we needed to write something real. A lot of it did. A lot of the record, it was thinking about Woodstock and what that was and what it is today. Like, we play a ton of festivals. Obviously, there's a million festivals around the world that you play. We wanted to make a record that sounded like a festival. We wanted to be like, what did we grow up on? We grew up on, the Beatles and Motown and that sort of thing. We also grew up on Missy Elliott and Outkast. And these are also outspoken artists. Like, they're also artists that were giving us something. We just, as soon as we said Woodstock, we said, let's make this sound like a festival. Let's make it sound like the best of all the worlds. Like, let's use some sampling. Let's sample Richie Havens. let's do it. Let's open. I mean, if we're gonna name the album Woodstock, we're opening with Richie Havens.
Absolutely.
I mean, that was the first performance that I ever saw growing up. That was like, I heard a lot of good songs. Like, I heard a lot of really great music, but seeing Richie Havens like belt that out with just like this raw passion and just the improv, everything about it was, I'd never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, like, writing like really great songs with a message is what's so amazing.
Yeah.
Like, that just kills me. That should still be happening today. There should be more of that.
Absolutely.
And I'm excited to see what happens now. Like, I feel like artists need to step up and speak out.